Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Channel Shout Out Moses. I am your host Moses, and today on Should You Play, I bring to you guys Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Keep it up! Show those Nazis who's the boss!
Now, Youngblood is the newest game of the Wolfenstein franchise, but published by Bethesda Games and co-developed by Machine Games and Arcane Studios, whereas the previous titles were just developed by Machine Games. And to get out of the way, this game is pretty different from your previous Wolfenstein games. Whereas the last one focused on a single-player narrative, this one focuses on co-op with a lot less of the narrative involved. The story focuses around Sophia and Jessica, BJ and Anya's twin daughters. And when one day BJ goes missing, Sophia and Jessica decide to take matters into their own hands. They get a tip that he's in France and fly to France. They get gear and then they're ready to go. They're helping the French resistance take care of Nazis to achieve their further goal, finding BJ, their father. But to be honest, that's all the story you're going to get for a very long time. Because as I said, the game is not story focused, it is gameplay and co-op focused. You will be doing a lot of missions, a lot of side missions, and a lot of quests to help the French resistance take control from Nazi France. So, the first things first, how does the game look? The game looks pretty damn good. For a game that's focused on, well, for a game series that was focused on its gameplay and its graphics and its story, it still does the graphics justice. The graphics look slightly better than they did in New Colossus, where they've upgraded some of the effects, such as the electricity looking good, the sparks looking good as they fly from your guns. When you throw grenades, the fire looks good, the smoke clouds look good, just the basic terrain looks good. The only thing I wouldn't really say looks good are your main character model faces, and I'm not really sure why, because the game does everything else well. The character model faces for the enemies look fine, and the character models for the enemies themselves, oh well, looks pretty cool and pretty innovative. But for your own character faces, I'm not really sure, and I've seen a few glitches along the way. Nothing game-breaking, something you'll probably see maybe once or twice, but for 98% of the time, the game looks stunning. And then there's the character themselves. Sophia and Jessica, I like them a lot, actually. I know a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of these people were just kind of ripping into them. I like their banter, I like their gameplay, and I sort of like their nonchalant attitude towards everything.
The snake in the grass.
Can't you just enjoy life for a second, Jess?
I'm not really sure where the accents came from, because they both have different accents. In fact, everyone in that family has a different accent. I find it very weird. That bothers me, but as far as the two girls' personalities, I tend to like it quite a bit. The only thing I wasn't really buying, though, is that this game is their first time killing a single person, and they got over it pretty quickly. But again, this game isn't really story-focused, so I'm not really gonna hold it against them too much. But you'll see them talk back a lot, and it's one thing I really like in a co-op game. If I'm playing a game where they're like something like Resident Evil 5 or BioShock Infinite, I like games where they constantly banter back and forth between each other, because if they're going to give you a co-op experience, make it realistic. You're not going to stay silent for 45 minutes in a mission. So that's one thing I did appreciate in this game. And then there's the gameplay, which is now the most important part of this game since the story aspect is removed. The gameplay is fine. In fact, the gameplay is your typical, it's weird. The genre of this is sort of weird now. It is your Division, your Destiny, without other people to interact with outside of you and your friend playing the game. You level up, your weapons have damage, your weapons have stats, you have armor stats, things like that. So that is what this game is now. And I don't really have too much of an opinion on this. And I'm not going to say the game is bad because I don't like that, because personally, while not for me, I know a lot of people that may like games like Division, Destiny. This might be right up their alley. The only thing that does suck is that it's only 2 players, but playing online so far, maybe it's because it's the first day, it's been pretty easy to find. And getting into a match is also very easy as well. But while I have to say, so far I have not had any difficulties in this game almost whatsoever. I'm level 20 something, but I haven't really had any problems in the game. In fact, there was a level where I just almost meleeed everyone to death and was okay. The enemies have levels above their heads to indicate what level they are, so you can compare that with the level you are. However, if you see someone with a skull, it means run away immediately because you will die. They are so far ahead of you in level. So how does this world work exactly? Well, you have your own central hub. It's an underground station where you'd have the underground French resistance. You talk to de facto leaders of that French resistance, and then you go and carry out their missions and quests. But everything is all, from what I can understand and what I've seen so far, is in one big central area. However, it's not quite completely open world. There's a lot of buildings you can't go into. There's a lot of things that are barred off. And most annoyingly, there's a lot of doors you can't open until you go later in the game, only to try to remember which of those thousands of doors it was to go back to early once you get the key for some mere coins. None of the rewards seem worth out of your way to get. Everything you can get by one of those locked doors are things you just find in the stage naturally. So you don't really have to waste your time trying to find this floppy disk to unlock a door, to find this gate code, or to find the right gun to break down this door, ultimately just to get ammo or coins that, again, you will definitely find throughout the stage itself. So once you beat a mission, you turn the mission back in, they give you another mission, and then multiplayer fashion, you go out and do it again, and that's kind of the game. Like I said, the game is based off gameplay, so to have fun with your friend. One of the other things I wanted to see more in this game, since it was a co-op game, and I knew that going into the game, I thought there'd be a bit more things to do while co-op. Maybe some kind of, I mean, this is an over-the-top game. If anyone's played the Wolfenstein franchise, this is a very over-the-top franchise. It's not a normal shooter game based in 1980. It's over the top. So I wanted to see some kind of maybe cool unique attacks or union attacks or something you can do with your partner, special attacks, something. But it doesn't really deliver on those. It is basically more Wolfenstein with different-ish guns, sort of, but just co-op. And then the enemies seem very, I wouldn't say dim-witted, but very one-dimensional. Even in other games, even in game, I bring up RE5, again, it's another co-op game that came out almost 10 years ago. I see enemies taking cover, I see enemies running, I see enemies trying to flank you. They are active in what you're doing, they don't just beeline you. And I feel like that's what this game does. None of the enemies really try to do anything outside of run towards you, which you will ultimately just strafe to the side and shoot them. In addition to your customization with your weapons, this game also has customization with abilities, which allows you to actually play differently than what your partner will play. There is an ability there's a class to start sneaking, then there's a class to start bum rushing. So maybe while you want to choose a class for sneaking so you can stealth around the people, maybe your friend wants to choose a class for bum rushing and picking up heavier weapons. That way it gives you guys a more diverse and yet cooperative play style where you guys can sort of kind of do everything that the stage would kind of entail. One of the other things I did like about this game is you're able to have a lot of skins in the game. A lot of color changes in the game, or color patterns, and you can easily get a lot of them in the first couple hours of gameplay, as well as different colors for your guns, which are also available in the first hour or so of gameplay. So it gives you a different kind of variety and sets you aside from your partner and just the mundane gray gun that you would normally play. So this game came out today on PC and will be releasing tomorrow on Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and the Xbox One. And I'm not really sure what the frame rates for those will be. It is rumored that the Switch will be 30 and the two consoles probably will be 60, but I can't say for sure. But like I said, my game was able to run at about 144, but then again, my computer stats, like I said earlier, are a bit decked out. So, should you play Wolfenstein? That's up to you. I'm going to say that mainly because while I do not think it's a bad game at all, honestly, I wanted a story-driven game, and they teased me with a very interesting concept in the first 10 minutes, and I get nothing along the way to what I can only assume is the end of the game, where they hopefully tell me what happens to BJ. But to be honest, I don't want to play 20 hours of this. I don't. I really don't. I had fun for 8-9 hours, and that's it. That's kind of all I can really put. But if this is the kind of game you want to play, if you want to play another Destiny-esque or another Division-esque game, then go for it. Then Youngblood is calling you. But if you like Wolfenstein for what it was and you want to play a game like Wolfenstein, New Colossus, or The New Order, no, you should not buy this game. Just watch what will be a 20-minute movie on YouTube. But what did you guys think? Did you guys agree, and do you guys like this kind of game? And is this the kind of direction you want Wolfenstein to go in? Let me know in the comments below, and if you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.
It's time for Arthur and Kenneth to illustrate this sticky wicket.
Fuck yeah!
You guys are weird.